Many schools across the state are up in arms over Governor Dugard's proposed budget cuts. The cuts are not only for K through 12, but for colleges as well. President Jim Abbott joins Lorena Reichert live at the Muck to discuss possible cuts here at the U.
Yes, Teresa. Just last week, the state proposed a 10% budget cut across all state programs. That equates to about a $4.9 million cut at USD alone. For more information on this, I have President Abbott. Thank you, President Abbott. Now, with these budget cuts, you had mentioned in the Argus Leader just last week that this was going to be painful for USD. How painful is this cut going to be?
Well, to put it in perspective, we're talking about a $3.4 million cut to USD if the governor's proposal is accepted, and another $1.5 to the medical school. So just to give you an example, the total direct educational budget for the School of Law, for instance, is about $3.5 million right in there. 4.2 for the educational School of Education. So that kind of thing, I think, gives you a little bit of perspective. Now, clearly, tuition will offset some of that, but it can't possibly offset all. It would take a 16% increase in tuition to take care of, for us to break even, that 10% cut. So that's not going to happen. The first thing we'll do, of course, is look at vacant positions. We'll look at frozen positions, and we'll sit down and I hope have a campus dialogue, but we're not going to do that until we know for sure exactly where we are. This is a suggestion, a request by the governor. That doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen. We need to prepare ourselves for that, but we're hoping that we can do a little better than that.
Right, because our education does fund about 50% usually of the university functions here.
Not quite. You would be correct if you were assuming, I think, general funds, tuition and fees. That would be significantly over 50%, be more like 70. But about 28% of the University of South Dakota budget is general funds and about 33% of the School of Medicine. So those are still pretty big nuts to crack.
Okay, so with this, I guess, what kind of increase are we looking at then for tuition for students?
Well, that all depends upon the Board of Regents. They have been very reluctant to increase more than 5 or 6%. Maybe they'll have to go 7 this year. I don't know. Remember, we've taken cuts 2 years in a row, right. Required cuts of about $1.5 million, I think, is the number. So this really does cut deep, no pun intended, and it's clearly going to have to come from tuition, at least to some extent, but we'd like to make it, of course, as little as possible. We're not interested in overcharging students or making them bear all the brunt, but they're going to have to bear some.
Well, thank you, President Abbott. And for more information on possibly talking to your state legislators and letting them know that this sort of tuition increase isn't necessarily what we want, it's on Saturday. There's a Cracker Barrel at the Vermilion Chamber of Commerce, and that is from 10 until noon. Thank you.
Thanks, Lorena.